Hi, this is the Created For You podcast. This is Cassandra Lauren Gordon, your host, and I am here with
Darius.
But Darius, there's another name for you. What is your brand? What's your name?
Victoryforu.
Okay. When someone says victorious, right?
Yeah.
You have to expand on that. How did you come up with the name? How does that?
That all started, I was really quite young, younger than I am now. So I think I was about 11, 12. And I was just extremely passionate about seeing young people and myself just strive to be victorious every day. And that's kind of how the name came about, because I want everyone to have victory for themselves, hence Victory For You.
Wow. You got that from 11 years old?
Yeah.
Just like that?
Wow. I mean, it took a bit more time than just that, but yeah.
Okay, understood. I just feel like when not like I stalk you or anything, but when I look on your social media and I look on your website, there's a sense of purpose you have.
Yeah.
It's very intentional. And I'm very much older than you, but I'm like, I look at you make me reflect in my own life.
Yeah.
And I'm not that intentional. So how did you find your sense of purpose at a young age? Because when I'm not saying that you're 16, but when I went back to my GCSEs and they're like, you must decide your whole life at 14. I didn't know what I'm doing. And I still don't know what I'm doing sometimes now. So how did you create this sense of purpose and sense of self-assurance to be where you are today?
I feel like a lot of that came from, my parents, because they're the best. I guess also like my faith in God, like having that like assurance that, things are going to be okay. I mean, even though times get hard, but I think a big portion of that also came from like being very bullied in school.
Okay.
So being effectively an outcast all of the time, I didn't necessarily have friends or didn't necessarily have people who I could like speak to or anything. So I just kind of focused on myself, which meant that I had to encourage myself and had to, find that sense of purpose, because a lot of, young kids' purpose in school is to, be at school, make friends, like do the education thing. And for me, like the whole socializing with people thing, it just was not there. Like I would try and it would fail. So I just put like my energy into other things. So trying to start Victory For You, like it was initially just a blog that I thought, this would be cool, to try and help someone that I knew who was going through a very bad situation, just help one person out. That's literally how it started. And then from there, we are where we are today, like just creating content, putting out blog posts, and being able to go to different countries and dance and speak to people and just have fun whilst doing it as well.
Okay, so I didn't usually do, I usually do like the bio. So I'm reading a bit of your bio. So Darius Smith, A.K.A Victoryforu, is a British blogger, dancer, and video creator who also loves to inspire young people to be the best version of themselves. From a young age, Darius has been passionate about being creative and voicing his passions, opinions, and about injustices. His blog led to his love and interest in social media. He uses it to inspire, display his work, to speak about injustice, and to help others. Darius got involved in local politics in secondary school and in the youth council, and this helped him to discover his love for public speaking, event planning, and fundraising. Okay, that's just all I did. Just took a little snippet, just a little snippet about what we do. So which one do you want to start with? Which art form, which creative platform do you want to start with first? Should we delve into?
I mean, let's start with dancing, because dancing is that was, I guess, the first love I had. So before I was even born, because my dad's an international DJ, he put speakers on my mum's belly and I was dancing literally in the womb. So at that point, I kind of had to dance. I kind of had to. And from that, I've just been dancing here, there, and everywhere, like from dancing in church to being able to perform at the Monaco Grand Prix to performing to performing at the Oscars pre-gifting lounge, so meeting different celebrities as they're getting prepared to receive awards. It's been a very amazing journey, but I think because it's something that is so me, one of those things. It's one of those things that if anyone knows me personally, they will be like, "Oh, Darius, he's the one who dances," and that's like for the most part, that's the first thing that people will say. And then after that, I'll be like, "Oh, the one that likes to, likes the fashion and to dress like interestingly and all of those kinds of things." But dance is something that has been a part of my life for like a really, really long time, and it's as much as it's something that I love so much. It's also one of those things that I have to balance in my life because it's kind of like a blessing and a curse in certain ways.
Explain the blessing and the curse bit, because it sounds like there's so much joy. How can it be dance and be a curse?
Well, when you are a performer, that's all people ever expect from you. So going through school or like liking girls and all of these kind of things, instead of people liking me for myself, they like me for what I can do. So they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're such a great dancer," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm other things as well. Like I'm kind and things." Like, no, but you're a great dancer. And it's like, oh, so if that's the only thing that you like me for, only thing that we're friends for, then it doesn't feel like there's no connection there. So that's why I say like it can be a blessing and a curse. Like it's more of a blessing than it's a curse because it's like such a great thing to be able to do. But there are some times where you'll notice people trying to enter your life and they will come with these ulterior motives, not so much because of you the person, but what you can do for them.
Wow, that sounds quite dark. But at the same time, you make me think about it's not saying you're him. You make the guy who plays Harry Potter. What's his name? Daniel
Radcliffe. Yeah.
So when he does interviews, he talks about because he's famed for Harry Potter, played for it for half his life. People like him for Harry Potter, even though he's an actor.
Yeah.
And he's that, and people get disappointed on dates, like, "Oh, it's him." I'm like, he's not Harry Potter. So so there's the persona or the performer, and then there's you.
Yeah.
So it just seems like it's such a heavy thing, a heavy thing to think about when you just want to be creative and express yourself.
Definitely.
Okay. So how would you describe your dance style then?
Very free, very fun. It's just me enjoying myself. Most of the times when people see me dancing, I'm usually performing with my dad. So when my dad's playing and I'm dancing, we are in sync because
playing. So what does your mom do as well?
My mum, she, on top of being like one of the best mums ever, she's a hairdresser and she will also be filming everything. So she'll do all the videography when we're at these events. And then from that videography, I will come back and edit those videos. So it's a full family affair. Everyone's involved. But
I'm
yeah,
so jealous. I wish I had a creative family. That would save me 2 degrees, which I don't use, but it's okay.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it's been like a big blessing to have both parents being so creative and me growing up going into creative industries. Something that my dad said to me very early on is you need to love what you're doing. Like you need to love and enjoy what you're doing, whether it's dancing, whether it's science, whether like whatever it is, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, I'm fine with that. If I wasn't enjoying what I was doing, then my parents would have some issues. They'd be like, "Okay, what's wrong? What do we need to fix? What do we need to help you with?" Because that's like, as parents, their biggest priority, making sure that not only that I'm okay as a human being, but also that I'm loving what I'm doing, because that's so important. You can't do a job for the whole of your life and you hate it. Like you hate it so much that it's causing you like physical pain, mental pain. They don't want that for me. And like as parents, they've had to go through so much to provide for me and do jobs that they've hated just to get money and to when I was born, to make sure that everything was okay, to provide nappies and all of that. But they want to make sure that I don't have to go through that because they put in all of that effort so I can do what I absolutely love.
You're the envy of a lot of immigrant or ethnic children here, where they like be a doctor, lawyer, accountant, pharmacist, just go to uni. Like I'm just thinking about my being parented. I didn't even, I mean, I think about going to uni was a nice experience, I tell you that.
Yeah.
But I just like had my UCAS form, but I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just like just, and I just put some, and I just hope for the best. And
Yeah.
then eventually I knew I was creative, but eventually I really wanted to go into acting. This is a sob story, start crying. But anyway, mom said no, teacher said no, and just laughed at me like, no, do something instead. And then full circle X amount of years later, I'm come back to be creative. So it's just
Yeah.
like, wow, it doesn't really escape you no matter what society or parental kind of things have you, but it just seems like it's, you know, your parents made sacrifices, you're blessed, you're using your gifts,
Yeah.
you're making the world a better place. So I think it's amazing. I'm not berating parents who try to get the
No.
children to do certain professions because they want the best. You know, I'm not a parent, but I guess, but being a parent doesn't come with a manual. People are just trying to do their best. So
Yeah, definitely.
I covered myself on both sides. That's really good. Okay, great. So let's talk about the online productions or the blogging and the social media, what you do. So how did you get into that? Because I hear about your edit. So it seems like you're all rounder. So talk about that.
Yeah, I'm trying to be. I'm constantly trying to like better myself and learn. I started my blog when I was about 12 years old. So my, as I said, my parents are really, really supportive. I came to my parents and said, like, this is what I want to do. I want to start a blog. And they basically made me at 12 years old write up a business plan. Like I didn't know how to write a business plan. I'm 12, but I was there like writing business plan, and I pitched it to my parents like it was Dragon's Den. And if I didn't, like, you know, get their approval or support or anything, or I didn't get their, you know, backing or their investment, I wouldn't be able to do it. But because I could convince my parents and say, like, this is what I want to do, this is how I see it going, these are like the kinds of people that I want to help and everything, I got my parents backing. And at the time it didn't cost anything for me to do anything. It was just to be able to do that on top of homework and on top of chores and on top of all these other things. And their investment was, okay, we're allowing you to do this, but in order for you to be able to do this, you have to keep up with everything, you know, still do your homework, still do the chores. If any of that slips, then that will be an opportunity that we take away from you. And I did my homework, I did my chores, I did my blog, and I was living life. I was so happy because because like it was that creative outlet that I needed. Because at that time it was a very difficult time in school. So to be able to have that external outlet where I can be myself without having to like put on a brave face to exist in school, it just was one of like the greatest things I feel like my parents have given me. Not so much the blog, not so much like any of the additional things, but like their belief in me to be able to actually do something, whether it was the blog or whether it was me like dancing or anything. So that was amazing. And then from there, learned things about blogging and went into social media. So basically I wasn't allowed social media until I was 13, the actual age to have like Instagram and Facebook and everything. So I waited until then, got Facebook, loved it, got Instagram, loved it, and then just started creating content, whether that's dance videos, whether that's me just speaking about things happening in the world. Specifically of late, I have been using my social media platforms to speak on different issues, whether it's racism, whether it's sexism, whether it's, you know, homophobia or anything like that, because it's, even if it's not an experience I have personally had, I know many people, many friends, many family members who have had to endure this, and it's just not right. Like, we are in 2021. Like, why does sexism still exist? Like, why has any of the terrible things that have happened in the last year, well, not just last year, last like 400 plus years, why has all of that happened? All of those atrocities, why has that like been allowed to happen? And yet we live in a country that says, you know, there's no systematic racism or institutionalized racism, but it's like, okay, we can see it, but it's fine if you can't. So it's just being in a position, even though like my platform is growing and I'm glad that it's growing, but to be in a position to speak to people and say, like, you know what, as Black people, as young men, as, you know, cisgendered people, we need to stand up for, you know, other groups of people, even though it's not our struggle. we can impact it, because if we stand up and speak for these people, not speak for them, but like uplift their voices, then we are helping to make their lives and their days easier, instead of having to consistently live in a space where they're hated all the time. So that's kind of been my journey with social media and blogging, and it's a space that I really, really love. It's got me like work, it's got me jobs. I've been able to do fashion blogging I've interviewed different fashion designers. I've done like a series on my YouTube channel which spanned from my blog, speaking to different people at London Fashion Week, which is amazing. So yeah, it's been an absolute blessing.
Okay. I'm just in awe. So I was reflecting when you was talking about when you was at school, and it was very difficult. You don't have to go into the details. It was a very difficult time for all different reasons, but you still found a way, like a safe haven or a coping mechanism. I don't know. I'm not, even I did a psychology degree, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but you still found a way to cope in a very healthy way. And so how does those experiences make you the person today with all those character building? Because this could be a young person or someone who feels very disconnected with the world, especially with COVID right now.
Yeah.
How did you find that inner strength for that character building to do something creative and just carry on, even though you went through very adverse situations?
I feel like, to put it bluntly, creativity was kind of all I had. Like, that's all I really had going for me. Like, I wasn't the smartest, I wasn't the most athletic, I wasn't the most manly, like no girls fancied me, like none of these things were playing to my favor. The only thing that really played to my favor is I was creative. So that's kind of all I had to work with, and so I put all of my efforts into that. There have been times and days where I haven't been able to do like the creative stuff, because like developing like depression and anxiety from a really young age, and then progressing to things of like considering ending my life and all of those kinds of things that happened at like a really young age, which I don't think any young person should ever have to deal with. But being able to be creative has really helped me to, I guess, process my feelings, process like all of the things that I've been through, process like the fact that a lot of the people who bullied me were going through things themselves. And obviously at the time, you don't know that, because when you walk in school and all you're receiving is hate in lessons, and that you complain to teachers and you have to educate your own teachers on why is something that someone says is racist, you know there's an issue. And it's been like, obviously I would never go through any of it again. I would never, but it has made me the person I am today. It's made me like the person who cares. Like, I deeply care about other people. Like all the experiences that I've been through has allowed me to get to a space where I became the youngest first person of color trustee for a youth charity within my area, which was a big deal. And to be able to do that and have a direct contact with young people from all different backgrounds, and to be able to feed that into like the trustee board is huge, because there aren't many charities or trustee boards that can say they have someone on their board who can directly speak to the people that we're working with and is part of the group of people that we are working with. So all of those like adverse situations, there have been stepping stones that have like built up into mountains that I've been able to stand on, to stand taller than anything that's happened in my past.
I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this in the most loving and touching way. I feel quite emotional, and I've just met you about less than half an hour ago. So this is not an interview about me, but I feel like the power of authenticity since you shared something. Not to go too deep, but I just feel like I've had similar experiences to you. Obviously, we had different, and I grew up in Coventry.
Yeah.
So in Coventry in the 90s and early 2000s was not a multicultural, not as multi, actually tell a lie. There's a lot of Asian people where I live, or where I grew up, sorry. But it was Asian and white, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't black or black Caribbean, right? So growing up in the late 90s in Coventry was very traumatic. It was a very traumatic experience. So similar things, which I'm guessing you know, being at school and educating your teachers, like, this person keeps on saying this word for me. Why is this people trying to beat me up? Why can't I go on the bus? Why can't I just come to school to learn?
Yeah.
Every day, literally for 5 years, it has certain effects. And I just, you know, I wish I had maybe social media back then, or I wish I had the confidence or the self-awareness which you had at your age, being at school, to find positive ways how to deal with, you know, mental health stuff and dealing with school and self-expression and stuff.
Yeah.
But not all is lost. I'm sure there's a happy ending. I think I'm a decent human being now.
Yeah, no,
But it's just something that just, you know, you know, some people, when they deal with dark stuff, can come out the other end in a very harsh way. But to see you be so positive and being this lovely social butterfly when life has not been so kind to you, it's such a testament. And I just felt very touched by it. So I just thought just to sneak it in there. Okay, before I start getting emotional again, let's talk about the poetry, because I feel like that's probably a healthy way how you express your emotions. So what was your poetry books about? You did 2 published books or self-published books. Talk about those.
Yeah, so those 2 self-published books, Victory for You Poetry Belief and Victory for You Poetry Collection, I've basically been writing poetry since the age of 5, or just generally enjoying writing since the age of 5. So over the years, these poems have like accumulated and stuff. And after doing that pitch to my parents about, you know, the blog, I think it was probably around 6 months afterwards, I went to them both and was like, I've got all of these poems. Like, what do I do with them? So we found a way to self-publish them, put them into a book.
Hold on. So what, you're 13, right?
Yes, I was 13 at the time.
She said, Mom, Dad, pitch, you did your Dragon Dead thing. I love how they make you work for it, not just, you know, here you go. Anyway, so you work for it, you pitch. They like the idea. It costs money, doesn't it? I think
a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, there's something.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a little bit of like as parents, their investment. But one of the processes that we went through, it was free to self-publish, but if you want to get the books yourself, so then you can go on and sell them, then you have to purchase them and everything. So that was like the main cost. So at the time, all I had was pocket money. I didn't have enough pocket money to buy anything.
You got pocket money. You're the lucky ones. Okay then.
Yeah, no,
hey,
I felt like I was balling. Then I realized, and I got older and I started working. I was like, I was poor. But yeah, so my parents helped and they invested. Or it was more so like they would give me more pocket money and say, okay, you buy it. So it's like it's from you. But it was just really, really cool. We had a book launch for it. So at the time, my uncle owned a pub, so we did it in the pub, invited like family members, different people from church. I told people in school, even though some people in school didn't like me, people turned up. And when I say people, like them same people who, you know, look at me slyly in the week and all those kind of things turned up. So I'm just like, okay, cool. So you don't like me, but you want to see the success. That's fine. So yeah, it was a really, really cool experience. Obviously it's still selling now, and like, but it was something that I needed to do for myself. It wasn't so much about making money. I mean, don't get me wrong, when I got like a little check through the door, which had a bit of money in it, I was like, Mum, Dad, I'm rich. It was when I say it was like £10, I thought I was rich.
But you're self-made, man. You're self-made. So yeah.
See, I personally don't believe in self-made. I feel like self-made to me is a myth, because no man is an island, no woman is an island, no person is an island. So I had this big rant once in school, well, actually no, in sixth form, to a teacher who said to me like, oh yeah, I'm a self-made teacher. And I was like, you know, when you have to physically sit someone down and be like, no. But I did this to a teacher, which probably shouldn't have done, but I did it anyway. And I said, you are not a self-made teacher, because you had to, you know, your parents supported you, you had friends, you had different people who came up to you, supported you through your education to get to being a teacher. You also have colleagues who you have to rely on. So you're not self-made. And she sat there and she was like, you're right, I'm not. And I was like, thank you. So I personally don't believe in the concept of being self-made. Like it's,
Okay.
you're made by like the people you surround yourself with. You're
Like a
made by,
village, the
yeah,
village raised you to be this
definitely.
magnificent person who you are. Okay, so
Mm,
it covers the blogs, online, poetry books, dancing.
yeah.
What else do you do?
So at the moment, I'm working on lots of different bits and pieces behind the scenes. Recently, well, I say recently, it feels recently, but it was actually last year. I worked on a magazine feature, which is about me. The whole magazine article is about me, and I basically pitched my idea for the photo shoot because I've been like involved in the fashion industry for a little while now. I was so passionate about there being a diverse group of people working on this project. So I went to the person who's in charge of the magazine and said, we need a photographer who's a person of color, the stylist needs to be a person of color, the makeup artist needs to be a person of color. And I said that straight up. I said, there's no negotiating this, this is happening. I found the people, like the stylist was a friend of mine and she helped me get into contact with the other two people, and we did an amazing photo shoot. And like some of the photos that I've sent you is from that photo shoot. We are awaiting when it will be coming out because COVID knocked things out of the way, but it will be coming sometime in the future. So that was an amazing experience because being in and around the fashion industry is something I absolutely love. It's been one of the best experiences. Like, as I was saying earlier, I got to interview some like different designers. I got to interview one of my favorite fashion designers, Christopher Rayburn. He does like really cool sustainable pieces. And it's just little old me at London Fashion Week, my dad holding the camera, me with the microphone, and he had 2 minutes, 2 minutes to chat to me. And I'm there like, I'm gonna make this 2 minutes count. Like this man was busy. So I was like asking questions about like, you know, advice you'd give to anyone starting up a fashion company, all of these different things. Like trying to get knowledge for myself, not for anyone else, for me. And he was gracious enough just to like give that time and say like, you know what, this and this. But a really, really lovely guy. And yeah, it's just more things like that hopefully to come in the future, which is exciting.
Wow. You just the person who just like this is my vision. I'm just gonna get it. I don't care, and I mean, you care, but you just on
Yeah.
it. I was just thinking the way how you just casually like, oh, just the fashion industry. No, 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 no. I'm a jeweler, so I'm not in the fashion, but I'm kind of in the industry, kind of by default. How did you just get into that? How did you just become an artistic director just like that? Like, how did you like? It's
Hmm.
just what are the steps? Because you're just casually saying it, and I'm just a bit skeptical. Come on now, break it down.
I feel like the biggest step is like having a clear vision. So whether it's a clear vision for a specific project or a
Mm-hmm,
clear vision for like your overarching career, just having a clear vision. For me,
mm-hmm.
the vision that I have for my career is to be able to help people. So no matter what I do, to be able to help people, whether it provides them a bit of joy, whether it provides them with information, it educates them, I want to be able to help people in some way. Um, so like last year, I was able to make 2 short films, which I'm like really like proud of.
Excuse me. So hold on. Okay. Let me just break this down. You start with the fashion. How did you is these short fashion films? What are they?
Well, they're both dance films, which
Okay.
one of them is my personal reaction to George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, and basically transform that into a dance routine after speaking at a Black Lives Matter protest. And then from that, and then later on in the year, something I started planning at the beginning of the pandemic, but ended up coming out like near like the end of 2020, a collaboration dance project with a charity called Choose Love. They help refugees all around the world. And I wrote to them being like, I really want to do this. Like, please get back to me. And it was like months of like emails back and forth, talking to the person who owns the rights for the music at a music label to be like, can we please use the song, please, because this is what I've choreographed everything to. And they gave approval. and it came out in October, and it's called the Key Workers Challenge. It's all about raising awareness for the fact that loads of our key workers in this country, the ones that people on their doorstep clapping for, quite a lot of them are refugees. Yet we have our government, we have different people in the country saying things like, look at those refugees coming over on boats. They're just here trying to take our jobs. And it's like, you people think that someone's going to come on a dinghy over the channel just to get one job. Most of them died before they even got here. So the fact that people thought that, and I had this open discussion with the charity, and they were like, wow, we've never had anyone come to us with an idea like this. So I was able to do it. They shared it on their social media. It did pretty well. I was really, really happy with it. And like just helping people to actually think about like the words that they use. And I think that that's another thing about like when you know that you have a vision for something, everything that comes off that vision, that it all linked together. So whether it's me making a short film or me talking to a fashion designer or posting something on social media, it all links to that same vision of just trying to help people, whether it's someone that I know, someone that I don't know. Hopefully at some point, somewhere down the line, someone's going to be helped and someone's going to feel supported and loved. And that's like the main vision for every single thing that I do.
So poetic. So poetic. No, but there is okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. As I said, there seems to be a common theme of you just like having this strong vision and just going for it and having that tenacity to get the results what you want. The other thing, what I connected with you over social media, I think I've seen you on social media talking about the social injustices, and obviously last year with George Floyd or Black Lives Matter, you know, Black people getting killed all the time.
Yeah,
all the time. Before last year. And I think I had a more connection with you because last year I used my business platform on Instagram to talk about this, because I was so sick of it was so disingenuous. Some of the jewelers and the jewelry companies, they're like black square all of a sudden, and all of a sudden putting black models wearing jewelry all of a sudden. It was like, you never cared about black jewelers, you never cared about black people before. You chose, I'm calling you out because you chose on your public platform to appear something that you're not, right? And then even when I said something on their platform, it'll be like, all lives matter, and they won't challenge their own people. So I'm just like, okay, so this is just a marketing tool for you, right? So it just seems like, so, but what I'm learning is a lot of energy. It's a lot of emotional energy, emotional labor, because then you give your personal story, and then get other Caucasian people will say, oh, amazing. I'm like, yeah, but what are you doing? I don't want you to perform with your allyship. I want you to do something and continue to do something. That same energy in June and May, I want that now. So what I'm trying to say how do you navigate and keep your energy, positive energy, when you keep on talking about using your platform, talking about social justice or race or whatever the cause may be?
I think a lot of it, for me personally, comes from one, having downtime, and also two, family. Like whether it's like your parents or your partner or your siblings or whoever you are surrounding yourself with in your household, even if it's not family, even if it's like your housemates, having that space to be either able to just vent and be honest and just lay like all the cards on the table and be like, I'm not feeling great. And I feel like over the years, me and my parents, we've grown this extremely healthy relationship to do with mental health. Like, I feel like there's a lot of stigma, which I guess in some respect is still true for the most part, that Black parents don't want to talk about mental health because, you know, you should just go out and pray and then it will disappear. And it's not the case. I mean, yes, pray too, definitely pray too, read your Bible too if you want to, but also like talking about it with someone, going to therapy, like all of those kinds of things are important as well. And to be able to have that space with my parents where we can sit down, have those open, honest conversations. Like, I remember after me and my parents all saw that video, And we all just stopped and was like, okay, wait, we need to talk about this because it impacted us all in a very different way. And having that space to be able to talk about it therefore helped me to be able to like speak about it online and to be able to make videos talking to not only white people but just people in general about Black Lives Matter allyship and how they can genuinely like continue this conversation, and it not just be like a trend and a choppy black square. Like that black square to this day still annoys me because there are some people that I know that I went to school with who posted that black square, and I'm there just like, okay, so you gonna post the black square, but all the things you did, cool, and continue to do.
Okay.
So
Black Lives Matter then, and in Black Lives now, and for the future, and for life.
Exactly. Okay. So yeah, I think it's like having that space, having that safe space where you can, I guess, get that energy boost. So whether it's, you know, just having a time where you, your family, whoever's in your household, sit down and watch a film, your phone's put down, like you're not focused on anything else, you have that time just to relax and recharge. That has become so important to then come back and be able to talk about, you know, recently talking about the importance of sickle cell awareness on my channel. Like unfortunately with the recent events with Richard and Evan, who both like their deaths, as I said in the video, were completely preventable if people in power took action quicker. And to be able to process all of that, me and my parents, we sat down, we spoke about it. And I think, as I said earlier, like when I say I'm so blessed to have my parents, it's something I think about all the time because I know that I've got friends who don't have that relationship with their parents. Like it's like a best friend relationship with my parents, especially my dad. Me and my dad, if we were born at the same time, we would have been exactly like brothers because that's how we act. But it's like that close relationship has really helped me to remain consistent in being there for other people. Even though, yes, there are times when I am drained, there are times when I don't feel 100%. And on those days, I don't post nothing, not one thing come out because it's like, I can't give my best or help anyone else if I myself feel weak or feel like unable. And yes, there are times where you still have to do things and deliver when you are feeling weak, but if it's drained to a point where I'm like, actually, no, because if I was to do anything now, it would be at the detriment of someone else. I would just rather not post anything on that day and come back the next day. And I feel like it's important to like also know your limits as well.
Wow, where were you last year when I was getting drained with this stuff? No, but I'm just reflecting like you sound very blessed, and thank you to your mama and papa, because I feel like just on reflection, I didn't take the time to do the self-care, and it really affected me in a different way, and I got a bit burnt out, you know. So I learn now, but I wish I learned that last summer. So it's great that you seem like got a great head on your shoulders and have this self-awareness and think about your mental health, which is a big stigma in the Black community even now. Like people don't want to go, oh, why do I need to talk to a counselor if counseling is one of the things, or you know, or someone's got mental health, but you don't really say someone in the family's got mental health, you know, just let them, you know, and not deal with it, you know, or and you know, even talk about depression or anxiety, you know, people don't even want to talk about it because and maybe sometimes being a Black woman is always have to be the strong Black woman, but sometimes you're not strong. And just going off there's so much trauma in the Black community, and it's just never really looked at, you know. I feel like even though I'm from a Jamaican background, well, my parents are Jamaican, and the trauma of like the scandal of the Windrush, like I know people never affect directly my family per se, but I know people have been affected, and that byproduct affected me. Like, how can you live all your life? You asked to come to this country, you asked to come to the motherland, to the country, and they built up the country, gave you church chicken and everything. I'm lying, like church chicken's not the only thing what people give, but give you slang, give you the culture, boost your economy, and this is how you treat them. So these are the people who directly you asked to come and displace, left their belongings, their culture, everything to come to make your culture be great. And then since then, I think 2017, 2018, I've been on this journey of just like don't know what being going back to your roots is, but just like, nah, man, like with Brexit and everything and the world, and
Yeah.
I have to look at Britain differently and my relationship with Britain.
Yeah.
Just because I got a red passport for now doesn't mean I'm gonna have a red passport tomorrow. So
Yeah,
it's
very
what it
true.
is. It is what it is. But not to, I'm just trying to lift up the energy because you are victorious. So I just want to lift up the energy.
Yep.
So how does a person in COVID get work with dance now? How does that work? How do you still get your dance in this way? Apart from, you know, you show on YouTube your clips, but how does one connect through dance in this social distancing world?
It's been difficult. I won't lie, it's been very, very difficult. It's just, I guess, leveraging contacts. For the most part, most of what I'm doing for myself, most of it's not paid. It's because I just love to do it. And with dancing, I've had opportunities to perform virtually. So whilst my dad's performing, I'm there performing as well. And like during this pandemic, you know, we've performed in Colombia, we've performed in Monaco, we've performed in, I think, Canada. And so like all these places that we haven't like not always physically been to, but it's allowed us to like open up opportunities to be able to be like, oh, okay, so when everything opens back up, then we have like a door open that, oh, we can go to Colombia, we can go to Canada, we can go back to America, we can go to all of these different places. Like if anyone wants to invite us to any of those places, like take us to Dubai, pay the full fare, like give the food, the hotel, all of it.
Get
Then
paid, then you can play. There you
yeah,
go.
exactly.
Get paid to play.
Yeah, so but no, it's been a really interesting one. So over this period I've been just dancing a lot. Obviously TikTok's been huge, so getting on there and doing different bits and pieces, like also like trying to talk to different artists. So there's a friend of mine who's a rap artist. He's recently put out a song, and I basically came to him and was like, so if I do a dance for TikTok, do you want to post it and let's see if it trends or anything, and then like just see what happens, and like just trying to just feel out like what works, what doesn't, to be able to like before the pandemic, I choreographed a group of young people called Messy Jam, who are absolutely amazing. And then obviously this year there was an event that was meant to happen that I was planning as a trustee of the charity that I was, called the Youth Awards. It was meant to happen, it was meant to be in a theatre, happen in real life, then COVID happened. And the reimagining of all of that and how to choreograph these young people whilst not physically being able to be in contact with them was difficult. And then to be able to like have the end result of us doing the opening performance and how it all came together, like it was like really, really fun, because I'm taking something that they're dancing to that is not the same song that is the ending result, because of like copyright issues and all of those different things. So I had to like edit it in such a way that it's like, yeah, they were originally dancing to this song. Like you would never, like people would never know. People have been like, oh my goodness, like it was so, so cool. And it's like, yeah, you don't know what we had to go through to get that. And then within that same event to be able to use, I guess, my confidence to be able to present that event. So to be able to like hand people, I'm air quoting, people awards virtually and all of those different things. So it's kind of like using the skills of dance, or using kind of like the attitudes and the confidence that dance has given me, and like just trying to pivot it to see where I can still leverage either paid work, I've found bits of it, but also like opportunities where it can open other doors for me to get paid work.
You seem to always to be with your pitching and you're knocking down doors and being adaptability. So I just feel like you have no worries of, you know, going where you want to go next. So before we wrap up, I'm just trying to, usually how we finish of the Created for You podcast is you talk about a testimonial or a positive story that someone has said about you or your services or about your artistry. So what would you like to talk about?
I would say one of the most positive things I've received, especially of late, is that I take the time to think and care about other people. So something that I recently put out on like Sunday just gone, a video about sickle cell awareness. It's not something that I have personally, but there are lots of people around me who are either disabled, they have like a neurodivergence, they have something that I guess sets them aside from what would be air coded as traditional society. And
Mm.
because like I've always been around people who like either have dyslexia or they have autism or something. I love them. I love them wholeheartedly because like they're like some of the nicest people. And to see those same people being like disrespected, it just like it boiled something up
Mm.
in me. It was like, no, I can't stand for this. So to be able to be in that position where I can speak up for people and not only like speak up, but use like the privilege that, and I'm using privilege in like in a very loose term, but the privilege that I have as a male, as a man, because like the I guess power that I have speaking as a man about women's issues, unfortunately, holds some greater strength than the woman talking about it, because for some reason men don't want to listen to women when they're talking about their own bodily autonomy or their own safety. And it's like, hold up, like I told you the same thing that this lady over here just told you. Why did you listen to me and not her? But to be able to use those kind of like positions to be able to talk about it, I've always had like reactions of thank you, like gratitude, or like thank you for, I guess, speaking up, or thank you for using the platform that you have to do this. And obviously I'm never doing it for that. I like, it's lovely that that's what comes back, but I'm doing it because it's like these things are not right. And to be able to have that lovely response of people, like that outpouring of love of people saying like thank you so much, because like that they didn't see, either they didn't see themselves reflected, and to have someone who is outside of their community stand up for them in that way had like made them feel better about themselves, has made them really emotional and grateful. Those are some of the things when they come back to you, it's like, this is why I'm doing this. Like, this is the reason why, I'm in these positions, to be able to speak to anyone, any person, young
Mm.
or old, to be able to,
Mm.
deeply connect with people and just find out what their needs are. And if I can help, then to help. If I can't help, then point them in the direction of where they can
Absolutely.
get help. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's just like one of the most positive things that's come back.
Very heartwarming. Oh, you see, positive changes, keep on going forward, changing the world through creativity and just through heart, man.
Yeah.
It's just heart. It's just, I just feel touched. So, where can people find you, buy from you, hire you, etc., etc.?
Etc. So on Instagram, you can find me at Victorious Darius. From there, you can probably find out everything you want to know about me and my life. But if you want to check out my YouTube videos, just search for Victorious Every Day. You will see a beautiful purple splat, and I will come up. If you want my website, head to Victory for You. That's Victory, FOR, and the letter U.co.uk. You can find all of the blogs. You can even purchase my books if you want to, and line my pockets with a bit of coin. You
Coins are
can
good.
Coins are
Coins are
great.
good.
So yeah, you can find all about me there, and also anything that I'm getting up to in the near future, because we have some things brewing. We have some things like working on behind the scenes, which hopefully will be coming up in the next year or so. So keep a lookout on all of those platforms, because that's where I'm the most active.
Amazing. Please. I don't know how old you are, but I know that you're younger than me. And I just feel like I'm in awe and inspired. And I reflected on when I was a teenager or a young person, or I'm still kind of trying to be young, but
Oh no, you're still young. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You're as young as you want to feel. It's all good.
perfect, right? The positivity. So if this doesn't spur you on of pitching and getting your ideas and getting what you want, I don't know what will. So this is a Creative for You podcast for you to create your own destiny, your own paths. You're the author of your own life. So I just feel like that's what I got from today. So thank you, Darius, for your wisdoms and for your gems, and peace out. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate this.